Senator, it sounds like you're not getting your no-fly zone or even something close to it. Does that mean that the rebels are doomed in Syria?
I don't believe the rebels are doomed, but I don't think there's any doubt that on the battlefield the advantage is clearly with Bashar Assad. Why wouldn't there be? Tons of Russian equipment coming in, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, jihadists from all over the region, 5,000 Hezbollah fighters, and he's still calling it a civil war. What it's turning into is a regional conflict, and the deciding factor on the battlefield is air power. And we have got to, and can, just as the Israelis have shown, with standoff missiles, they are able to hit targets that they want eliminated. It's
Would
shameful.
you like to sit down with the president and talk about this?
I have already. And
what's his response when you make that case to him?
He said he understands my points and he respects it, just as I respect his position. But obviously he has not agreed, and the influence.
Is it just that he's maybe he's just anti-war to some extent? He came into the White House being the anti-war candidate. As you know, he was very much opposed to the Iraq war. He said in Germany that he's a president who is all about ending wars, not starting wars, made that comment. Is he just philosophically opposed to ratcheting things up in Syria, do you think?
No, I think he has beliefs that are genuine and sincere, and they're obviously different from mine and most other experts. Look, the Middle East is about to erupt. This is turning into a regional conflict. Lebanon is destabilized. The king of Jordan can't last. The conflict is spreading throughout the region. The Hezbollah is all in. This is becoming a Sunni Shia conflict. Iran, Saudi Arabia, Russia, U.S., and it's an unfair fight.
But what about that video of that rebel fighter that we've seen it on YouTube? It shows a rebel fighter, what appears to be a rebel fighter, eating the heart of a Syrian government military service member. Why would we want to get involved in something like that?
I think it's terrible. I think it's horrible, and I think civil wars are probably the bloodiest and worst of all. The difference between that individual and that atrocious act is that was an individual act by a deranged individual. Bashar Assad has a strategy of rape, of torture, and murder. There's mass graves have been found all over Syria, and so it's his people and Hezbollah and others are trained to inflict torture and to engage in mass rapes in order to cow the population and commit mass murder. That's the difference here. We're talking about 93,000 people dead. The president said, well, now we know that chemical weapons have killed 100 people. What about the other 92,800 and whatever it is? Look, this is an unfair fight. It's shameful. If Bashar Assad stays in power and the Iranians are able to make sure that happens, imagine the position of power that Iran has in the region. And look what happens if Bashar Assad fails. It's a great blow to Iran, the greatest in 25 years, and they're cut off from Hezbollah, which would mean that Hezbollah would die on the vine. That's why they're all in this conflict. And now we're talking about giving them light weapons. Light weapons do not do well against Scud missiles and tanks, and it's just shameful.